just like, all right, everybody, all right, starting this YouTube channel, the making of Boxcar Gospel. I just think it's going to be something that'll get everyone to understand us and know us better. And anyone who's ever connected with our music before will be back on the bandwagon. They'll be interested again, and it'll give them something every day to look forward to. And every time that we get it, then they're connecting with us. There's that bond being made, and it's only going to help the music, and it's only going to help everyone as much as they let it, you know. All right, Roots.
Never seen it.
Now, when I was a child, I watched the original Roots, and I really liked it. I liked it as a child, and I watched this mini-series that just came out, and yeah, I'm digging on it too.
Oprah was in.
Oprah
Was that the movie?
was in The Color Purple.
Like, get off my porch, you all can, something like that. And everybody fucking cheers about it because they're racist.
I don't know.
Fuck Oprah.
Fuck Oprah. She's got her own cult too.
Fuck white people too.
Yeah, I don't like white people. Oprah, Saddam Hussein is all right. Obama is gay and a Muslim, and Michelle is actually, her name's Michael.
Obama's not. I don't think Obama's real. I think he's a hologram. Have you ever seen that shit where his like hand fucking disappears?
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's really fucking crazy. Well, I mean, talking about hands disappearing and stuff. In the ISS, the space module that the spacecraft that's hovering around the world supposedly that NASA has, there's green screen technology going on there, because there's this one shot of this man going through one of the hallways, going like out of the shot basically, and right as he's going out of the shot, he disappears. Like, you can see through him.
Yeah.
So they're using green screen technology. So, I mean, I don't trust anything that NASA says, honestly. Okay, going back to Roots. My roots, as far as music goes, it goes all the way back to, of course, when I was a child. Anytime a song would be on the radio, it would affect me greatly to the point of being depressed as hell if some country song was on, you know. Not saying that I hated country. Back in the day when I was a kid, like, I really liked country.
Me too.
That was playing, you know, like Reba McEntire, Night That the Lights Went Out in Georgia. I still jam out to that shit. I'm serious, man. Like, it's something about the vibe that they have going on, you know. I mean, it really is electrifying.
Hey, that's
maybe
reals, actual vibrations.
Yeah.
Not just digital signals
Yeah.
that are dead.
Well, I'm not going to say all digital's dead, because that's all we've been doing all these years.
Yeah.
So, but it would be nice to have that technology to where we could do everything on reel-to-reel, on ADAT, different things. But yeah, as far as the roots go, what got you into music, Brian? When did you know to yourself that you were a musician?
My dad bought me a Smurf drum set when I was like 4, 5 years old. Something like that. It might have been earlier than that because I didn't have my dirt bike yet. And that was when I was 5. But, yeah. I remember playing along to Clint Black song. And my dad was playing on this little stereo that he bought. I remember him telling me, fucking, keep the 4 dun, because he used to try and play drums when he was younger. I found out later. And then I took them apart and couldn't put them back together. So that's how it all began.
Okay. The way it began for me, well, when I was really young, I remember just chilling in my room, and I had this old big ass tape player that had the Chipmunks singing Three Blind Mice. Or it might have been the Chipmunks, but it was some mice or some chipmunks or something singing Three Blind Mice. And I just remember looking at it and like picturing like the mice in there in that tape console singing. And I felt kind of guilty for playing it again, but I just went ahead and did it anyway, you know, because
poor little overworked mice.
Yeah, they never seemed to mind, you know. I just figured, well, maybe they'll tell me, you know, if it becomes a big problem. And then that type of that type of understanding translated into when a few years later when I was in church, I was sitting beside my Nanny Louise, and I asked her, "Where is Jesus?" And she pointed up and out. And she didn't think about it, but she was actually pointing at the PVPA speaker that was in there. So I always, like, for a few years there, I just pictured Jesus just sitting in there chilling in the PA speaker. But when I was, like, say, up to about 9 years old, I was into the music, the mainstream music that was spoon-fed to kids, you know, which was MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice, Jinx, You Owe Me a Coke, or Dr. Pepper, or a Cheerwine since we're in Carolina. Cheerwine? Hell yeah, man. I love me some Cheerwine. Maybe put some vanilla ice cream and a little bit of Cheerwine on there, Cheerwine float.
Speaking of Vanilla Ice.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about, that type of connection. But, so I was listening to that one time. I was over at my aunt's house, and my Uncle Clyde was like, "That's not real music. This is real music." And on his car tape player, he played some Chuck Berry and some Jerry Lee Lewis. And then shortly after, I got into Elvis, and you know, I was just completely obsessed for a good part of my life, and I still am. You know, I feel like Elvis is another part of me. You know, I feel like he's my older brother or something. I mean, like, my imagination as a child is still preserved in the songs that Elvis has sang, you know, and it's really crazy how in depth that goes, you know, all the way down to me going to Memphis to be homeless, you know.
How did that go from being like top 40 Elvis to fucking Vanilla Ice, like Ninja Turtles tapes that you used to get from Pizza Hut, talking about influencing us as kids and shit music and like,
well,
go Ninja, go. Like, you never would have heard Elvis fucking sing Go Ninja Go. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me how it went from that to that.
Well,
in like 30 years or 20 years.
Just corporations and the selling of products and different things, you know.
They should have figured out right then and there that they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, like when they put out Go Ninja Go. And like, it worked. People got hyped about it. I remember seeing it in the theater for the first time.
I got hyped
like,
about it. You know, I was like, Go Ninja, go. I was like, hell yeah. Go Ninja is some shit. But, anyway, so I was into Elvis, and I started, I was watching the Elvis movies, and around that time, I'd always go to my dad's house, and he was playing acoustic guitar. You know, he'd write songs and just jam on some chords and stuff, folk chords. And I had seen the scene in Love Me Tender, where Elvis is playing for his family, and he's singing that song, We're Gonna Move to a Better Home, you know. Well, there's a leak in this old building. Well, there's a leak in this old building. We're gonna move to a better home. But, so I decided, well, I want to be able to do that. Like what he was doing for his family at that moment, you know. I mean, this is what I was exposed to, you know, thinking about it as a child, you know. I was like, I want to be that person, you know, that's bringing that much joy to people, you know. And it was just something about it. So I asked my dad to teach me a few chords. And he started off with 3 chords, you know, like say G, D, and E, or it might have been some other chords, but it might have been G, C, and D. But I feel like E was in there somewhere. But
That's usually the first one.
yeah, well, E is one of the easiest ones to learn, you know. And then from that point on, you know, I got a guitar, my first acoustic, which I still play all the time, you know. It's in all of our Dear Eden recordings. You know, I got that Ibanez Performance for Christmas when I was 12. And then...
That's a great guitar.
Yeah. And then I got my first electric shortly after, you know, on my birthday that next year. So I just locked myself in my room, and the guitar was my best friend, you know, from that point on until I started being social and I found like-minded individuals like you.
Play guitar.
Yeah, look, I can play guitar, you know, and that's...
So I do.
Yeah, I mean, that was mine and your connection, you know, from the get-go, and most of the people that I know now